All right, here we are at the bench with the penguins and a Janet. The weather is much nicer than it was the last time I made a video. A little warmer out. People are out. It's not always a good thing. I mean, people are fine, but I'm into yeah, no crowds and stuff, and it's been a little busy everywhere I go because of the weather. Anyway, none of that's really important. Anyway, I got this blade out, and I just wanted to talk about it for a minute, two, maybe a little bit more. But it's a really nice blade. It is a shoulderless design, right? No shoulder, no stabilizer. The grind is a little whacked. You'll see, like I've honed up into this area of the spine where you wouldn't normally have to. But there's some issues with it, so I wanted to get a perfect hit on the bevel. I had to drop the dimension down over here a little bit. It's a rather old blade. I am not certain. I think it's a Sheffield. It's harder than most Sheffields. Right? Condition's pretty good. Bevel isn't too wonky. Spine wear is visible. I don't care about that. Scales of plastic, nothing great. It's like a 5/8 or around there. And it shaves nice. And I started experimenting with different types of finishes, and I hone a lot. I hone all the time, so I'm constantly like honing stuff to death, literally. So what happened was I put it on my scope, which I don't use the scope all the time. I'm not a big proponent of the scope. And some people are, some people aren't. I don't think it's all that important. I can see what I usually need to see with my 4X loop. I don't really rely on the scope for a whole lot of things, but this blade was acting a little weird with certain honing progressions, so I put it on the scope and I was taking a look at it, and I had some anomalies on the bevel in my striations, and I just want to talk a little bit about honing, and I want to just explain some of the things I go through. So to draw a picture, what happened was I was just feeling something while I was honing. I never got off the rock. I didn't get to go have a shave. That wasn't good. It wasn't feeling correctly. My feedback wasn't there. There wasn't a consistent feel from stem to stern on my pass. So normally I just go back to a 1K or whatever and then iron it out and go forward from there. But this time I was a little more curious. And I went and I looked, and I was suffering. The bevel was suffering from some, you want to call them rogue scratches, but it wasn't quite it. It was a different type of striation issue, and the only way I was able to see it, okay, was by a certain type of viewing technique. That's how I use my loop most of the time. On my scope, I use dark field illumination. It's a completely different type of illumination. A lot of scopes don't have it. Metallurgy scopes will. The metallurgy scopes are used for reflected light. In other words, light shines down on a subject and back up through the light pipe, and you see. Most scopes are not made for that. Most of bright field makes everything look great. I see pictures from people shooting bright field, and isn't that a great edge? Yeah, it's beautiful. I look at stuff from bright field, I'm like, isn't that great? Yeah, I switch it over to dark field, and I'm like, whoa, no joke. So anyway, let's just say, for example, that this is the surface. I'm looking on it edge on, so sort of like this type of thing, right? And over here, okay, that's an eye. Never said I was an artist. Okay, so this is my viewing angle, right? So this is the direction that my loop is looking at, right? You can see that, right? Now, you have a light source, right? See, it's directional, right? So let's just say that my light source has a direction that is, can you guess what that is? No, it's not a spider, okay? It's the sun. Okay, so there's my direction, right? So anyway, in order to see what I was looking for, right? Viewing like this, everything looked hunky dory, right? It had all my striations were like little tin soldiers, all like all lined up. They look beautiful. But now this is critical. This is something to learn, and I'll show you with an actual blade and my loop. But the way to see what I was looking for handheld with a loop, not on my scope just like throws it up in my face, is to do this. This stays the same. This stays the same. This pivots. It maintains focus. So if you want to look across the blade, you go this way, or you do it that way. Okay. And what you're doing now is you're changing how the light is reflecting off of your piece. And you're going to pick up things that you wouldn't see if you were just looking straight on. All right. I've said it a million times, collecting data is great. It's what you do with the data. That's what matters. Parsing data and making sense out of it is difficult to do if you don't get all the data, right? Because you're only getting part of the story. And it lends itself to something called confirmation bias, which is no good. So in the case where I'm doing this, what I'm doing is literally I'm keeping my viewing angle, right? And just imagine that the illumination angle is static. Now on my bench, my illumination angle is always static. It's right over my head, but like I have 3 bulbs up there, I can turn 1 or 2 off. And I can do this. On my scope, it has a built-in illuminator, and I also have a LED, not a LED, a halogen with a light pipe on a fiber optic light pipe. So I can I can pinpoint exactly what I want to hit on the blade, and then I'm looking through it in dark field, and then nothing's hidden. Anyway, so what I had here was I had this. I don't know. I don't know exactly where it came from. I don't know if it was in the substructure or the subsurface from some heavy work that I had done earlier on. Because when I got this, it wasn't like really super sweet. So there was a lot of work on here. So I think this was like on a 320. And when you use a really coarse stone, you leave deep striations. And even though you think you took them all out, there's an effect on the steel. And I don't want to get too into it right now, but it's there, but it's almost like a ghost or a phantom. Okay, so there's a problem there. You can pick it up when you're looking at the very, very edge. This is why sometimes some razors need like a day and a half on like a 5K. And this is one of those blades. All right. And basically that was exactly my answer to the situation. Except I moved away from my Shapton 5K, which was working fine, but I moved over to my Naniwa 4K, which is a little bit finer actually, but it's a different type of abrasive with a different type of particle shape, and I believe it's much more homogeneous and consistent, and the blade really responded to it. So I was able to go from there on up to like 8K, and like I can shave off this if I want to. But that's not my goal. for this particular exercise. Anyway, I just want to talk about that viewing thing because, people are prone to like throwing up high magnification photos. I was on some like, I shouldn't even tell you where I was, but it was on the internet someplace, and then this was old stuff. It wasn't modern new posts. A lot of times you hear me reference stuff. I'm talking about stuff I read in the past, I saw in the past. Um, I'm not up to date with everybody's social media or whatever. So stuff that people are producing now, I might not get to it till next year. So anything I'm talking about right now might be something that like stuck in the back of my brain from like 5 years ago. Anyway, that's what I'm talking about here. This guy had a scope, and I was looking at the whole setup, and it's all wrong for viewing. Like, you get a view, it's helpful, yeah, but you're not really seeing, you're not really getting the picture, you know. That's why people who are like, geologists and metallurgists and what have you like that, that's why they use the equipment that they use. I'm not saying don't get the $40 VHO. I'm just saying don't put all your eggs in one basket there. If the VHO is helping you, then that's all good. Way too much water. It's another thing I see people do. They use too much water on their stones, and it's fine for certain techniques and different approaches with different stones, but for right here and right now, you hear that sound? That's me running over the chamfer with my Tomo. I'm doing that for a reason. All right, I want to make sure that edge that comes off, I want to make sure that there's no like prickly pear shit going on there that's going to tear up my edge. So you'll see me do that often. And yeah, it wears the stone. Boo-hoo-hoo, it wears the stone. I have another stone. If I wear this one out, I don't think that's going to happen. This is a pretty hard stone. So, anyway, my goal here with this next step. Now, I'm not doing a Nagura progression because what I'm going to do, I'm going to finish on Tomo after scent. I'm going to shave with the thing, and I'm going to gauge my work. And it's going to shave fine. And then I'm going to come back, and I'm going to work with these guys, and then my Tomo. And this is one of the ways I evaluate things. This is not a testing set. This is what I call the gang that couldn't shoot straight. Look at them. They all have, look at that. It's like brain surgery, like something out of Silence of the Lambs. And I mean, it's really gory in there, right? And then there's this one that just, I don't know, he lost the whole corner there. It just sheared out, It was very pretty, though. He got some nice stripes. And then this one, this is very, very, very nice Majuro. I had this little pock mark over here, which I think may have been like an inclusion, but then it was hit, so there's some fissuring going on. And then over here, there's the same type of thing where something whacked it, and it's just like it was shattering. Can you see that? Anyway, over the years, I picked these out of sets, and I put them on the side, and then one day I sealed them, and I use them all the time for this type of work. If I was going to sit down and do some, great big, finale finish, I'm going to shave atoms off my face type of thing, I would probably grab the bigger set out of my drawer just because. Oh, here's the coma from that set. Look at this. Stamps here. The rest of the stamps there. What were they smoking that day in the quarry, right? Why on earth would they do that? No point. No point to doing that. And a lot of times you see whacked up stamps. It's an indicator that the stone is bullshit. It was made by some guy, in Pakistan or something. And what you're really buying is like Crayola chalk. Now, this is the real deal, okay? I just don't know why it was stamped that way. It's like really weird. Anyway, I don't need to call him enough for today. I use my, what do you call it? Maruichi Tomo Nagura. Yeah, there's real, actual Maruichi, right? None of that like modern made for tourist crap. Oh yeah, it exists. It's a whole industry out there. Oh, you should feel this. Such a sexy stone to hone on. All right. My goal here is to kill the striations from my 8K and lay down a bed of haze. All right. And I'll know when I'm done by looking at the haze. I'll see how even it is. Um, I'll actually know first by feel. Sorry about my hand. I just wanted to feel there. A lot of times you see me come in with my finger and then guide along. Sometimes it's the guide to do like a last minute, like get off the stone move. And you have to be careful with that. I'll get to that in a sec. But a lot of times it's just I'm using the vibrations coming out of the spine. I want to feel a little bit more than I'm getting out of here. I want to feel it with my left hand. So that's my goal. So that's what I'm going to do. And it's kind of a slow stone. This is kind of a slow tomo. I'm probably not going to do the entire thing in front of you here because I didn't really want to do like this really long video. Want to get to, I want to turn things around a little bit. I have a couple of lengthy honing videos in the pipeline, working on an editing and what have you. There's a little bit of a warp. So do you see that? I have to sort of roll up and into it. I do it very quickly. And if you're not watching, see, I start to pick up there. See the undercut? Okay, you want the undercut, right? But you have to be careful of undercut because if I go really fast, I get undercut, but it doesn't mean shit. Yeah. Normal honing stroke is how I judge my visuals and my tactiles. It's audible too. Not so much on this stone, but it's there. I can hear it. I don't think this mic is capable of picking it up. It's not a very good mic. It's better than the mic in the camera. Well, camera, it's a phone. Anyway, this is an ideal stone for me to work on. It's just like very, 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 very hard, almost like super hard. It might actually be super hard. I just like to look at it. Actually, it's got this like yake sort of phantom something going on there. It's very pretty. You got this latte thing going on in the ends and what have you. And anyway, the sensation here is it's already changed from when I started. It's changed notably, actually. But in all honesty, for me to get this edge to where I want to go and just tumble along after the 8K, I'm probably going to want to double up on the session. Yeah, I'm not really feeling it right now. I might go, one session might not be until I completely exhaust the slurry. I might go halfway and then restart, which is sort of like a reset, and then go forward from there. And I was saying I was going to do another session, and I was, instead of going to termination on the slurry with the first round off of my thumb, I would probably go like halfway, 3/4, and then come back and then pick it back up again. And not for any particular reason, and I don't have any like hard data on no empirical data on a scientific process that proves that that is the accurate and perfect way to do things. It's just the way I do it, and so there. Much to the chagrin of people who like to live inside of Excel sheets. I don't work that way. I go by feel, and I go by mood, and I go by what I think, and I follow my heart. And so far, so good. I shave very well. So anyway, that's the whole thing. I'm going to cut it here and get on with the rest of it. And maybe I'll do another video showing you the Nagura progression on this. Excuse me. And if not, then I'll show a video on something else. So, so that is actually, pretty much it. Because what I'm going to do is, remember this? This was in one of my videos. This is that like ginormous 38, 40 millimeter pure badger brush I did the brush making video on. It's the insane knot that you need like a kilo of soap to lather with. Anyway, I've decided to give this away. So that's right, folks. This video is actually a giveaway. So I'm going to give this away. So leave a comment. But don't give away while you're leaving a comment. Just, say something in the course of leaving a comment that alludes to what's going on here. I don't want people opening up the video and being like, oh, there's a giveaway. Let me get in on this. I want some free shit. No, I want this to go to a, what do you call it? A continuous viewer, somebody who like sticks around with the channel and comments and feeds back and talks to others and shares some good stuff. So that's the deal. Anyway, so I don't know how long I'm going to leave the opportunity going or whatever. But yeah, throw a comment down and I'll pick a winner and I'll send you a message or something and you'll get a big fat brush for free. All right. That's for Con US. Okay, overseas would cost me like a ridiculous amount of money to ship this. So overseas is no good. It has to be Con US unless you want to pick up the shipping. But it's literally, I can't get this in a small box, so the shipping is going to be like, I don't know, $50 or something. Yeah, don't do that. Wait till I have a smaller brush, like something like this. I could get into a small flat rate box. Anyway, we're done. Remember. Have fun, get out there, have a good time, hone some more, keep honing, keep on honing, hone it good.